Greetings, fellow casters, and welcome to Gather and Geek. So, I'm getting ready to play in the Elestrals webcam premiere tournament on February the 8th, and I've just finished constructing the deck that I'm going to be piloting in that event. So I thought I'd do stop in, do a quick deck profile, see if you guys like this kind of content. I'm happy to do more of it in the future. If you don't, leave a comment and tell me you don't care about what I'm playing, and that's absolutely fair. Just some quick notes ahead of time. I know that my world ranking is high, but I don't consider myself any kind of pro player. This is just what I've assembled to play. I don't know if it will or won't actually be good. I've got some playtest games on. Obviously, I'm not going in completely without any due diligence having been done, and it's been really good in playtesting. But we'll find out for sure on the 8th if it's actually any good or not. So without any further ado, we are going to be playing Lunar Aggro. All right, so we're going to start you out with the normal things that you're going to see in every deck, right? We've got our 3 Ambrosias, our 1 Resting on Your Laurels, and then our counter rune package of 3 Gorgon's Gazes, 3 Poison Tipped Arrows, 3 Shield of Achilles, the staples. I'm only playing 1 copy of Tsunami. I would love to have played 2, but I kind of ran short on space. You'll find the other 2 hiding in the sideboard. But just 1 in the main board. We have 3 copies of Lunar Phase Full Moon. Now, this is a card that a lot of people talked up to high heaven going into the Moonrise meta. And I think some of that hype is deserved. This card does some absolutely wild things in certain board states, and we're going to be looking to take advantage of that, specifically with our 2 copies of Temple of the Moon. Will allow Lunar Phase to turn itself into a battle trick when we've got these by pumping up our guys' attack and defenses. We'll also kind of make some of our Lunar guys that are mid-sized maybe able to trade or get over some of the other Elestrals that our opponents will be playing. For our Elestral lineup, we start every deck around here with 3 Astrabbits. I saw in the Poison Nectar Monthly that MBT ran that there was a bunch of folks not playing it. I think it was 6 of the top 8 decks didn't play Astrabbit. I'm not ready to give up my boy yet. I think this is still the best card in the game, and I'm going to keep playing him. Because I expect my opponents will have rabbits, I will also be playing 3 copies of Edward, everybody's favorite little water boy. I'm playing 2 copies of Jolting to find those 2 copies of Temple of the Moon. It kind of feels like a weird ratio, 2 and 2. I feel like you normally want 3 of the thing, and he would be the extra copies to go get it. But I was also a little short on guys that I distinctly wanted to play, so I think a 2 and 2 split is how I kind of landed on it. We've got 3 Spectrus to start our Lunar Elestrals, because he is the best Lunar Elestral in the game, and we're going to play him. If anybody shows up with the water good stuff pile that with galaxies and foamies and whatnot, this guy eats them alive, so we need to make sure that we are playing him. He's particularly nuts when we have a Temple in play and he starts out as a 5 and becomes a 6 in combat. Speaking of guys that get bigger and better in combat or with Temple of the Moon, Gnawbie. Gnawbie is the heart and soul of this deck. When he receives a Lunar, he obviously gives all non-Lunar and Solar guys, Enchanted Elestrals, a -2 attack. So that is, he's effectively attacking at a 6, if you really want to do that math. And he is insane. He clears so many things. He is a threat at all times. And when he does run over one of my opponent's Elestrals, he will turn into Special Ascend from hand or deck into one of my 2 Doppelgators. These come into play in the middle of the battle phase. They immediately get to attack and do extra damage or run over something bigger. We've had lots of plays where we were able to run a Gnawbie into something small, turn it into a 'Doppelgator, run over something bigger that we couldn't get over with the Gnawbie. because again, the Doppelganger also gives your opponents all of their guys minus attack. Sorry, all Elestrals that are not Lunar or Solar Enchanted minus 1 attack for each Lunar on him, which will be a minimum of 2 when he comes out. You start adding the Temple of the Moon onto that, and all of a sudden this guy's clearing everything. Now, speaking of guys that get distinctly better with Temple of the Moon, I've got 2 copies of Werepup. When you cast Werepup, he searches for a lunar phase and adds it to your hand. The only one we're playing is that full moon, but that's the good one. When you play lunar phase full moon while he's in play, he can special ascend into a Like a Void from your hand or deck, and we play one. So it's really cool that he can come out, immediately find the counter rune for you. You set that counter rune. Even if this guy can't get over something on their side of the field, they can't attack into it because they know you've got the full moon and you're just going to ascend into this giant Like a Void. If they don't attack it, you ascend it on your turn anyway. This guy's got piercing damage, and on the turn that you play the lunar phase, he's unaffected by counter runes. Like, this card is also insane. In playtesting, the fact that Werepup was only a 3, even with the making him a 4 if I had Temple of Moon out, was just small enough that I don't want to be quite into like a 3 and 2 package for him. But 2 and 1 has kind of felt like the magic sweet spot. 2 cards left in the deck, and they're a little bit spicy and fun. One of them is the Unk. It's Arkalith. We are playing a small Thunder package, but it is enough that if you can catch your opponent sleeping with two guys in attack mode, this guy hits the field, loads up, and he can be massive damage. He can close out a game out of nowhere fantastically. That's why he's at 1, right? Because he's that good. Speaking of cards that are at 1 and need to be at 1 because they're just that damn good, it's Pharaohgeist. Pharaohgeist plus a Lunar Phase. If you have a Lunar Phase full moon set and you've got Pharaohgeist in hand, any card on your field, any Elestral you have, becomes Pharaohgeist. I mean, you can have an Ast Rabbit in play, right? That you have, looked for cards with, whatever, your opponent can't clear it. You draw for turn, flip that Lunar Phase, throw 2 Lunars on it, equip it with the 1 Solar as part of the Ascension, and you've got a Pharaohgeist. Pharaohgeist says, for those uninitiated and unaware, this card says it can't be destroyed in battle, and it can't be returned to your hand by card effects, by your opponent's card effects, excuse me. So that means, if you summon this card, you cast this out on Ascension, and they don't have Poison Tipped Arrow immediately down, the cards left in the game in the relevant meta are what? Earthquake, Resting on Your Laurels, each at 1. Maybe they sided in Boom Bats. Like, you don't deal with this guy. Like, the game comes to a crashing halt, and you've won. The other nifty thing is, he does more than that. He also says your opponent must expend 1 spirit in order to cast cards. So let's say they do even have the Poison Tipped Arrow. When you play this, they flip a Poison Tipped Arrow, 1 to play, 1 for his effect is 2. You get in for 3 points of damage, then they expend at the end of the turn to kill him. This guy did 8 points of damage for their 1 card. Deal. Sign me up. This card is insane. The spirit math is super duper easy. We've got 11 Owloons because we need a lot of them. Honestly, 11 isn't even enough. We want more, but this is all the space because we have other cards that we're trying to play. This is all I had space for. I would love that number to be 12, 13 to be able to just willy-nilly throw around lunar phases, but this is what we've got. We've got exactly 5 Zaptors, which if you're doing the math, that's enough to have the requisite 3 in the underworld when you cast your Arkalith for 2. These pay for rabbits and Joltins and etc. Really well. We've got 3 Leviathans. Leviathans, those pay for our 3 Eddies and or 1 Tsunami. Or they'll play around a Tsunami by misenchanting. And of course, the one and only one Luminate for when we happen to have the combo and can go into Pharaohgeist. Sideboard is relatively simple. The other 2 copies of Tsunami, we've talked about those. In case you run into a super aggressive deck, you need a little more defense, you can play these. If you're running into any kind of combo deck that's trying to play stuff from their deck, Pandora's Box will take care of that. A couple of new cards. We've got 3 copies of Poison Fruit. Poison Fruit, anytime your opponent would return spirits from their underworld to their spirit deck, this card will negate that card. So if you run into any kind of heal stall strategy, that's really just shuts them down. Speaking of shutting people down, say goodbye to Burn. Burn decks don't exist anymore. Magnetic Force Field exists. This is a 1 thunder counter rune that says, if your opponent activates a non-counter effect that would cause you to expend spirits, you negate that effect, and they have to expend 2. Fun fact, this means the Cryo Scorch deck just doesn't work anymore. If they actually ascend all the way up into Cryo Scorch, they lose if you've got this card. Cool. 2 copies of Thunderstorm in case we run into anybody who's like say Divine Runes or their temples are really important to them, and 2 copies of Boombat in case we run into somebody playing a game plan deck that's actually putting up something big. I know the Blistrix Cedar Soar deck can be a problem. They put out big stuff real fast. Noticeably missing from this list is Hurricane. I think that card is good. I think that everybody knows it's good. So in a premier event like the premier webcam event, I'm going to just go on a limb and say that my opponents are going to be forward thinking enough that they're not going to be setting 3 and 4 cards at a time, and my Hurricane would not be great. Maybe I'll be wrong and I'll pay for that, but I'm banking on my opponents having an aptitude, if they're going to play in this event, that they won't have played into Hurricane. So at your local meta, probably play Hurricane. You're going to catch people sleeping all the time. In this event, probably not. Question: what if you were trying to build this list after the fact? What would I cut? It's probably the one Tsunami goes into the last Tsunami goes into the sideboard for the Hurricane, something like that. Yeah, you guys can figure out what to cut. So anyway, that's the deck list. We're playing Lunar Aggro, and Temple of the Moon plus Lunar Phase Full Moon is going to carry us to victory, or so that's the hope. Catch you guys after the event. Leave some comments down below the video on how I did. You know, make fun of me if I totally bottomed out, or congratulate me if I did well. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, again, leave a comment. Let me know that you want to see more stuff like this. Do the thing that I always ask you to do, right? Appease my YouTube overlords. Hit the video with a like. That'll tell me that you like this content. We'll keep doing it. Hit the video with a subscribe, or hit the channel with a subscribe. Keep coming back. We're going to be covering a lot of Elestral stuff in the future. We want to be your one-stop shop for TCGs, the RPGs, and all the games in between. So if you like other games beyond just TCGs like Elestrals, or even if this is all the coverage you want, we've got you covered. So yeah, that's really just it. Until the next time we all get together, gather around, and geek out, from everybody here at Gather and Geek, GG. Yeah, I think we did. Why are you still here? The video is over. You don't need to... Oh, I'm sorry, you're just going to keep watching? Like, I'm just supposed to just keep performing? Like, dance, Gatsby, dance for the camera. I want to keep watching. I'm done. The video is over. Like, I'm not doing that. I don't do this just for... No, this, I don't need to... No. You want more of me? Do you want more of this face? I don't know why. You want more? Look how happy I am. You want more. There's more videos here. Go watch those. Those are fun videos. This one's over. This one's over!